Welcome to the MythBusters Aftershow. We are taking your questions about road rage. Let's get right into it. The first question is, Jamie, are you okay? That looked like a nasty case of whiplash, or at least spinal compression. Oh, there you go.
It was. I hit my head on the top of the car. I cracked my neck. But it was muscle strain. Having done this enough, I know when I'm in trouble and when I'm not, and I was not in trouble with that. But it's like you can play football and take a hit, but you keep doing that over and over again, it adds up. So I stopped, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question, as accidents go on the show, how did that one stack up? Also, what's the worst injury someone's had on the show, on or off camera? We've had 3 broken fingers from moving safety equipment around.
Yeah, we've had a lot of close calls, to be sure, and whenever that happens, we pay attention so that we don't have any worse than a close call, and so far we're pretty lucky that way.
We are. Carrie slipped on a slippery floor and really hurt her leg, and she was on a cane, on crutches for a couple weeks. That was much more serious than this. So this is really middling to minor. Next question, Jamie's injury would have been prevented if the driver's side was on the floor rather than in the air. Why didn't you try that? There's actually a really good reason we didn't try that. It's because in driving on 2 wheels, driving with the driver's side down is much more difficult. When you're low, it's much harder to find the center of gravity. It's like try to balance something like this test tube on your finger as opposed to something that's 3 feet long. Sitting on the driver's side on the top, it's actually much easier for you to figure out where you are and to correct for it. You've got to be much more practiced to be able to do that from the bottom side.
Although James did say that some people prefer that.
Yeah, no, sure, I have no doubt that they do, but
Whoa! Woo! Yeah!
We had to learn quickly. Next question. You guys have done a lot of driving maneuvers on the show. Was 2-wheel driving the hardest, and did it surprise you how hard it was?
It certainly was right up there.
Yeah.
According to James, we picked things up very quickly and well, but there was this threshold that you had to get beyond which just took an awful lot of practice.
Yeah!
It wasn't something that pretty much anybody could be expected to pick up in a day.
No, he said I picked it up really quickly, but I mean, I was driving in circles for the better part of an hour solid. I probably did 30 or 40 circles in order to get where I got. And that final run, I felt like, oh, now I understand how this works, and I'm kind of getting it. Unfortunately, the wind was picking up, and it was late in the day, but finally took the car over. But I think that was the hardest thing we've learned to do on the show in a car.
Yeah.
Next question, why didn't you test this on a real cliff road? This was hardly edge of the seat stuff. I'm just gonna leave that out. Really? Seriously? We're gonna run each other off a cliff road? Next question, surely the big SUV versus a small car was one of the most obvious tests you've done in the history of the show. Durr. Except that in the movies, we have totally seen people use SUVs to try and run the hero off the road, and he's somehow able to keep that from happening. I agree that was incredibly obvious, but again, we're answering movie physics that we've seen and addressing the specific properties of the cars and testing and seeing what the actual results are. Next question, if you had to shove someone off the road using something you've learned on MythBusters, what would you do? Personally, I can't see beyond Jamie's hub spikes from your Spy Car special. Actually, I'd take the pit maneuver every day. That maneuver is just so foolproof and so terrific. Of course, we'll say above 40 miles an hour?
45.
Above that, it is considered a use of lethal force because you can actually tip the car over that you're pit maneuvering. So you have to be very careful about it. It might even be above 35, but yeah. Don't go out trying that out in the real world because you could end up with some very unpleasant results.
Yeah.
Last question. You guys are normally really into car crash type myths. Do you think now you might be a little more nervous? Oh no, this merely whet my appetite for more car. I love the car stuff. I can't get enough of the car stuff. Put me behind the wheel of a car, smashing into Jamie at 40 miles an hour. Those are like some of the best fun I have ever had behind the wheel.
Yeah, we'll have to go into a demolition derby
Totally.
someday.
100% I want to do that.
We've been properly trained. We might actually be able to compete pretty well.
I feel like we could build a car that could withstand the hell out of it with demolition derby.
Yeah, I want to take one of those cars and just armor the heck out of
Yeah,
it, so you
exactly.
could go after each other all day and just like wail on the other car, and nothing would happen.
All right, that's it for the MythBusters After Show. Thank you for joining us again. We will see you next time. Next show. Whoosh.